Most men are loud. They're leaders. They're constantly trying to impress someone. Sigma men aren't built like that. They're quiet, strangely familiar in a way you can't quite explain. And that's usually when the question sneaks in. Wait, why does that feel like me? The internet loves turning this archetype into memes, diagrams, and personality quizzes that promise instant enlightenment. But beneath all that noise sits a very real psychological pattern. A tiny percentage of men who somehow operate outside the traditional hierarchy, while still earning respect inside it. To understand the Sigma male, you first need to forget the internet chart shaped like a food pyramid of personalities. Real psychology doesn't label people like exotic zoo animals, but it does study autonomy, social drive, adaptability, and behavioral minimalism. A Sigma is defined not by rebellion, but by self-sufficiency, a kind so deeply wired that even as a child, he didn't ask permission to explore the world. He simply wandered. He learned by watching. He socialized only when he felt safe. And praise? He didn't chase it. Half the time, he didn't even notice it. Where the alpha's power comes from influence, the Sigma's power comes from detachment. Not emotional numbness, just a natural distance from social games. He doesn't reject the hierarchy. He simply forgets it exists. Where the alpha's power comes from influence, the Sigma's power comes from detachment. Not emotional numbness, just a natural distance from social games. He doesn't reject the hierarchy. He simply forgets it exists. Psychologists call this high cognitive independence, the ability to think without needing social cues to guide behavior. It's not coolness. It's not edginess. It's not sunglasses and silence. It's a psychological blueprint built on autonomy, introspection, and a refusal to perform. And yes, some of them look brooding and mysterious. But that's usually because they're thinking about whether they locked the door, and because they're thinking 3 steps ahead while everyone else is reacting. Let's be honest. Every introvert with headphones has claimed Sigma status at least once. But a Sigma male's traits go deeper. He doesn't disappear because he hates people. He disappears because his mind is a full-time ecosystem, quiet on the outside, loud on the inside. He avoids drama not because he's mature, but because he genuinely forgets people are competing. He doesn't chase authority, yet somehow gains influence accidentally, like the guy who says one sentence in a meeting and everyone suddenly rewrites the plan. He's observant, surgical. He notices micro-expressions, tone shifts, and intentions long before others catch on. That's not mysticism. It's pattern recognition developed from years of watching life instead of talking over it. And the humor of it? Sigmas often don't realize people admire them until someone spells it out. The reaction is usually something like, "Wait, me?" But here's the real kicker. A Sigma's independence often comes from a psychological crossroads, a mix of high self-reliance and low tolerance for social pressure. It's not rebellion, it's comfort. While others fear being alone, a Sigma needs it to think clearly. While others seek social oxygen, the Sigma breathes in introspection. And yet, he's not antisocial. He's selectively social. If you've ever seen a man go silent at a party for 20 minutes and then suddenly deliver a sentence that shifts the entire vibe, that's Sigma behavior. Strategic silence. You'll see it in small, everyday moments, too. The man who scans a room before choosing where to sit, not out of nerves, but because he's reading the environment without even realizing it. Here's where the psychology gets uncomfortably honest. If you're listening to this and feeling a strange sense of recognition, a quiet yes forming in the back of your mind, it might be because Sigmas often realize who they are in private moments. Not from quizzes, not from labels, but from noticing a pattern in their own life trajectory. Were you the kid who wandered alone without feeling lonely? Do you get called mysterious even when you're not trying to be? Do people tell you they can't read you, but not in a threatening way, more like they're mildly intrigued and confused? Do you prefer a small circle because large social environments drain your operational energy? Do you adapt to groups without ever needing to lead or follow? And perhaps the biggest one, do you feel like you've lived most of your life adjacent to the crowd rather than inside it? If so, you're not weird. You're not detached. You're not a lone wolf by rebellion. You're simply someone whose personality operates on a different axis. You aren't above anyone. You aren't below anyone. You just don't measure yourself with the same ruler the herd uses. The irony? That's exactly what makes Sigmas so rare. Not because they try to be, but because most people can't imagine life without comparison. But you can. Here's the truth most online discussions skip. Sigma is not a badge. It's not a personality you unlock by brooding in hoodies. It's a behavioral pattern born from introspection and independence. A psychology defined by walking a path without needing applause for every step. In the end, the rarest thing about Sigma males isn't their mystery. It's their comfort with themselves. No hierarchy, no performance, no need to shout who they are. If this resonated with you, it's not because you're trying to fit the Sigma mold. It's because part of you has always operated outside the mold, and you're finally noticing. Subscribe, because men who think like this don't shrink to match the world. They rise to meet it. Have a great day.